Grace and peace, grace and peace. Last week we talked about clairsentient. This time we're going to talk about clairgustance. Okay, clairgustance is a very unique, rare gift. Okay, it means psychic taste. All right, yet powerful psychic ability that always allows us to sense outwardly information through the sense of taste. All right, some can easily distinguish the ingredients of complex dishes or drinks, or you can remember the taste of things you have dreamed about. All right, so everyone does not have this gift, but it all goes down to clairsentient psychic feeling, which means empath, light worker. Then we break down clairgustance, which is clear tasting, psychic tasting. Okay, some people who are gifted with this psychic ability can even taste when they eat in an unfamiliar uh when they enter an unfamiliar room, or when they think of a deceased loved one. So have you ever been sitting somewhere and you like, why do I feel like I tasted some peppermint candy or some butterscotch or some cookies or something, and then you were like, wow, this was my mother's favorite, this was my grandmother or grandfather's favorite. That is psychic taste, clairgustance, which is telling you that you are picking up the energy of a deceased loved one. Okay, they can taste things that have nothing to do with food, such as objects, places, and people. Hello, Cherry Cherry. So, clairgustance. Okay. Once again, this goes down to clairsentient. So, clairgustance, you can pick up taste. Some people have this gift, like if you are a medium or a necromancer, you can walk into the room and you can say, why do I taste like dirt? Why do I taste like stale blood? Why am I tasting something awful? Okay, you picking up a spirit, an unalive spirit. It could be a earthbound spirit. Okay, this is a psychic taste. You can pick up people, objects, places. It doesn't necessarily have to be food. It can be like a taste of perfume in your mouth. Okay, I am good. So this goes with clairgustance. The sense of taste can evoke strong emotions such as memories of childhood or past relationship. You can taste the auras of the room they are in. Okay, so these are types of clairgustance. Psychometric. Okay, psychometric is goes with psychic touch. All these are affiliated with clairsentient. All of it goes with your clairsentient. Okay, it breaks down. Clairsentient is one of the most powerful psychic sense, psychic feeling that you can get. Just about everybody has that gift. It's dominant. Some people just use it more than other. But this one, clairgustance, is very unique and it's very important. Like I said, you can tell when somebody's getting ready to die. You can tell when somebody's getting ready to get sick, because your psychic senses and your tongue picks up. Okay, the sort of taste, like I said, psychometric is a hybrid of psychometric gift and gustance together. You can taste flavors associated with objects, people, places simply by touching them. So say you have there and you go in here and you're like, man, why do I taste like mothballs in my mouth? Okay, why am I tasting like a bitterness? That can tell you this is a negative entity that was on that. Okay, because you touched it, you have five senses. So when you touched it, you all clairsentient. By you feeling the psychic feeling, it radiates to your mouth. Everyone does not have the gift of clairgustance, which is a French word. Clair mean clear, gustance mean taste. Okay, so start paying attention when you have that taste in your mouth and it's like real sweet, or it's like very stale, especially around the moon. Sometimes y'all are connected to the moon. Y'all might be tasting blood, tasting metal. Okay, it also, I'm not a doctor, never played one on television, but also that can be a medical attention. But a lot of people don't give credit for clairgustance, which is a very unique, rare psychic ability. Okay, the next one is intuitive gustance, tasting through ESP, positive or negative. Okay, that also start paying attention to your taste. Okay, you have clairalience, which is psychic smelling, clairgustance. They all go with psychometric, which is psychic feeling in your hands, and also clairsentient, which is psychic feeling. The nose, the mouth, the hands, and the feeling all goes hand in hand. A lot of y'all do have it, but y'all just ignore it because y'all focus on the ones that's major. Once you dominate the major gift, then the small ones will start coming in. A medium doing a reading can start tasting like, I am a psychic medium, okay? I could be giving somebody a reading and all of a sudden I'm like, I smell apple pie. And then all of a sudden I start tasting it. And then I was like, wow, I taste like a Pepsi. I said, who is this energy? And I see a grandmother. I said, did your grandmother used to like apple pie and drink Pepsi? And the person's getting a reading will say, yes. That's another way that goes with your necromancer, your psychic medium, and your medium ability. Okay? Every time someone said, but I don't see the dead. You don't always have to see the dead with your spiritual eyes. You can see it with your psychic eye, your spiritual eye, not your human eye, which goes down to what you smell, what you taste, what you picking up. You pay attention to energy. Energy is very important. When you on your spiritual journey, energy is very important. You need to pay attention to the energy. All right. So like I said, clairgustance, you have psychometric. By you picking up something, you'll start tasting it. Like I said, it's like, why am I feeling like stale blood? Why I'm picking up mothballs? Why am I feeling like I'm getting ready to get sick? It's a sickening feeling in my mouth because that is a negative vibration that you pick up. Okay, once again, you can taste people, places, things, which is objects. Okay, like I said, a medium. Then we have the flavors of gustance. We have number one, familiar taste. Like grandma's whiskey, grandma's moonshine, grandpa's tobacco, okay? Things like that. These are familiar. You start tasting it. That is a sign of mediumship, psychic ability, mediumship, and necromancer, okay? Then you have number two, symbolic flavor. Sudden bitterness might be a warning. You get a bitter, you somewhere, you're not supposed to be there. Okay, if you start picking up like sulfur, tasting real bitter, that's a negative telling you're not supposed to be there. While sweet taste is positive. So the bitter is negative, the sweet taste is positive, okay? Then you have historical or cultural taste. Tasting fruit from different time periods or cultures, ancestral connection. All of a sudden, like I said, my smell and taste go together. So I count them as one. I'm doing it. I smell curry. Then I start tasting curry. Then all of a sudden I have a Hindu goddess or god around me. Or if I'm doing a reading or teaching on somebody, it'll come up. You need to start paying attention to all your clairs. A lot of y'all have clairalience, which is psychic smelling, and clairgustance, which is psychic taste, and y'all ignore it. Y'all ignore it. These two also goes with your intuition. Remember, a bitter taste in your mouth is negativity. A sweet taste in your mouth is positivity. Then you have the environmental flavors. Example, salt water, dirt, cigarette, that ooh-wee, you know, that sticky, icky. Those are environmental. Eventually, when you taste it, you eventually smell it. Once again, these two, you might as well count them as one because they go hand in hand. Okay. Then we have number 5. The flavors are gustance. Number 5 is healing. Herbs, medicine, blood, sickness. This is how you start developing. Okay. There are ways you can strengthen this. Exercises. Just like you go to a physical gym, you have to go through a spiritual gym. Okay. You can play these games with your children. You can do it with your significant other. You can do it by yourself. This helps strengthens it. First one is meditation. Meditation is going to get you on point with all your clairs. With all your clairs, meditation is going to get you on point. You need to focus on your mouth and tongue. All right? Okay, you're going to visualize. So get a white candle and start visualizing the white light going in your mouth. Okay, it's going to get any blockages, any negativity away. Okay, also taste training, blind tasting. You blind yourself and you smell and taste the food. You know how when your nose is stuffy, you can't really taste the flavor of your food? Once again, these two go hands in hand. So if you work on that, smelling it and tasting it, this is going to help you with your clairalience and clairgustance, okay? Then you have definitely grounding. We came from earth, and when we die, we're going to return to earth. So it's very important to ground barefoot in the dirt, in the grass, but be careful because, you know, animals take a dump in the grass, and also daubers plant their beds, their nests in the grass. So be careful where you step. But just barefoot, if you're not, don't want to, socks in the ground. Picking it up. When you having a bad day, picking it up. Picking some dirt up in your left hand. Okay? You're going to speak in it. All your negativity, you're going to toss it over your shoulder. This is giving Pachamama, Mother Earth, Gaia, your negativity. Okay? Keep a taste journal. All through your spiritual journey, you need to have several journals. One is the phases of the moon, because you dream, you feel off on different phases of the moon. You should always have a moon journal. Number 2, a dream journal. Number 3, a shadow work journal. You're constantly journaling. The next one, you need a taste journal. You can do a taste, smell, and feel journal. How am I feeling in the meditation? You honor always your positive and negative thoughts. They come up. Let them come up. All right? Then you like, how do I feel? What am I feeling? Am I feeling anxious? Am I feeling nervous? Am I feeling scared? Am I feeling peaceful? That's very important. The next one, what am I smelling? Try to pick up the smell from far distance. What am I hearing? Try to see how far you can hear. These are very important exercise for you for your spiritual journey. Okay? Overcoming doubt. Doubt will block your clairs. Doubt will block it. Okay? Insecurity, not confident, will block your clairs. All right? So this is about clairgustance. Like I said, it's a very unique, rare, but very powerful. All right? You can walk into like a restaurant and you can taste something like, nah, the energy is not good. Okay? Because you'll start feeling it here, and then you'll start tasting it, and then you'll start smelling it. So clairgustance is psychic tasting. It goes with your clairalience, which is psychic smell. Psychic taste is clairgustance. Psychometry is psychic touch. Clairsentient is psychic feeling. All right? So those are main important. Like I said, you can be a psychic medium. You can be a necromancer. You don't always have to see the living. The dead. So you can start, they'll come with you with smell, where you feel, energy. All right? You can tell when the energy is masculine. You can tell when the energy is feminine. You can tell when it's young and vibrant. And you can tell when it's old. So like I said, stop focusing on seeing everything. Okay? Because everybody cannot see out of their human eyes. But we have 4 spiritual eyes. Your third eye, the 2 on the sides, and your God's mouth that's in the back of the neck. The back of the neck is the very one that gets attacked, because spirit can enter and exit through the back of your neck. That's the weakest part. So you need to always keep that cleansed. You always need to protect that with some type of protection oil or anointing oil. Okay? So you need to start focusing. That's why it's called the 360. When all your spiritual eyes are open, you sleep and you see everything. It's like a 360. Okay? When you're sleeping, you're actually awake. When you're awake, you're actually sleeping. So, like I said, we went over clairsentient, which breaks down to an empath and a light worker. Okay? That breaks down to a psychic medium, a medium, and a necromancer. Following by that, you have clairgustance, which is psychic taste, clairalience, which is psychic smelling, and psychometric mantry, which is psychic touch. All right? When you are a healer, you all were born with that. But some is just more dominant to others. And you really need to focus on the ones that's weak. After you master the ones that's very strong, this is when you start focusing. As soon as you start focusing on the ones that's less dominant, all of them are going to be open. Okay? A lot of y'all are focused on your third eye too much. A lot of y'all are focused is like, well, I can't see like that. You can see in the spiritual realm. Okay? If you was not born blind and someone's saying, imagine a red bus. Visualize a red bus. You close your eyes, you're going to make a red bus appear because you know what a red bus look like. All right? So stop saying what you can't do because you're blocking yourself, because everyone has that ability. If I said the sun, everybody know a sun is bright. So when you were children, you knew how to draw a sun. Okay? So if I say visualize the sun coming down on you, in your mind's eye, you can see the sun coming down on you. So once again, you have to stop doubting yourself. When you doubt yourself, you're blocking yourself. Okay? There's ways to unblock you. Like I said, a candle. White is universal because our ancestors didn't have no colored candles. Okay, so white is universal. They had beeswax or they had soy, which was a cream white or white. All right. So imagine you sitting there and you light it. Make sure it's dim and the only light you have is the candlelight. And you sit there and you always do protection. Protection is number one. Then you focus on the light. And then you imagine this flame is entering to your third eye. It gets brighter and brighter. Then you start saying, I am a psychic medium. I am clairsentient. I am is a very powerful 2 words. I am. Because as soon as you start it, you start planting that seed, you start believing it. All right. The next thing we're going to talk about, energy cord cutting. Energy cord cutting is very important. That's why I say you should never physically touch somebody or have somebody touch you. Okay, there's people talk about the elbow swap. When you let somebody touch your elbow or you bump, you actually doing an energy transfer. Basically, they trying, not everybody succeeds, trying to do swap destinies with you, trying to get your essence. All right, your essence is like a residue. For example, Pope, the Pope that just died. Do you know why they pop him on his head? Of course he's dead, but they said to check to see if he's dead. You calling his oversoul to him. That is his energy. That is his essence. So if you can really see auras, you will see like a greenish essence over him. And that's how they take his power. That's the reason why they do that. Another way, if someone dies in your arms, y'all seen that one movie with Monique, the reader. When she died in that girl's arm, she took on Monique's personality. That is called an energy transfer. That is called like that. You take on to that. That's how these celebrities and stuff, you know, they shoot people, they stand over them, and they do an energy transfer. The soul goes in them or their essence. All right? So, yes, when you seen the Pope, when them do that to the Pope, they was calling up his power, which is his oversoul, so they can take the essence, okay? That's the one reason why he wasn't a bomb. Okay, we're going to talk about energy cord cutting. There's 7 signs. When you are in a toxic relationship, okay, imagine a woman's pregnant and the baby is connected to her on an umbilical cord. All right, that's the same way in the spiritual realm. So when you astral travel or you soul travel, you have a silver whitish cord that connects you. That's why you can easily get back into your body. When that cord is cut and separated, that's when you don't return. You go to the upper room or you go downstairs below. However, wherever you're going, you're destined to go. Okay? So you're connected to the universe through a spiritual cord. So when you're in a toxic relationship, there's a bond. You are connected. That's when you know you have to cut cords with that. That is an energy transfer. The second one, you don't have your own identity, especially y'all females. Okay, I have to put it out there. Some of y'all just ain't right. Okay, y'all a slow one, Mr. Grinch. Y'all just can't write. Y'all lose yourself over a freaking hot dog. Y'all lose yourself, and if y'all into the same sex, y'all lose yourself over a taco. Okay? Especially if you got the license to lick. You're a carpet muncher. Okay? Y'all lose yourself. Y'all don't know who you are. Y'all change drastically. Every time you like, no, he do it, so I do it for him to make the paste. No, I don't eat pork, but I cook it for him. And no, I'ma cut my hair, but they be like, you shouldn't. But he like it better short, or he like it better if I dress up like a whore. That is losing your identity. Okay? So you have to do an energy cord cutting. The next one, not being your true self, goes with you don't have your own identity. You're changing. Don't nobody know who you are no more. And another way you know you got an energy transfer, you start mimicking people on social media. If they say, hey girl, hey, how you doing? That is an energy transfer. So you just picked up that. So you need to do a cord cutting. The next one, addictive behavior. You can't imagine living without somebody or something. Too much of your present power is connected to them. This is where you give your pearls to swine. This is where you give your power. People pleasing. This is another way. People pleasing. You need to do an energy cord cutting. Energy cord cutting. Okay. Number 4, easily manipulated. Easily manipulated. That man said, drop down, give me 50 and you ain't in the military. Okay. You being easily manipulated. These scammers. This how y'all get catfish. You need to do energy cord cutting. Anytime. From your job, anything. You're easily manipulated. If I tell you to jump in the ocean and you're going to grow wings, you easily manipulated. So you need to cut the cord to manipulation. Also to those people you're connected with. Energetically and physically drained. There's people that FaceTime you all the time, just sit, don't want nothing, and then y'all staring at each other like two lost puppies. They are ciphering your energy. A person don't need to FaceTime you just to get a message across. They do that to cipher your energy. I'm like, why you gotta call me? You could just text me. You don't want nothing. They are emotionally and physically draining you. All right? Number 6, you stuck in the freaking past. Okay? Just like Adam Sandler. He's stuck in the 80s. If you notice, every movie he got, he's stuck in the 80s. That's an example. Or some of y'all stuck where y'all was in a relationship. You do the same thing. You are a repeat offender. That means you have to do an energy cord cutting. All right? Having nightmares. People can do stuff to you in your dreams. The reason why they use people like someone you're comfortable with, like a friend or say a mentor or a classmate or something, is because you let your guard down. They shapeshift into that person. Demons can shapeshift into your relatives. All of a sudden you have a dream and all you say, my relative is acting kind of weird. Why are they doing that? Always pay attention to their eyes. Always pay attention to the energy. Once again, when you are sleeping, you are awake. When you are meditating, you can control your dreams. You can actually make your dreams stop so you can see what's going on. It is because I can do it, and I teach my students how to do that. Well, my advanced student. You can, because when you're sleeping, you are awake. So people will shapeshift. That's why you hear people say, never let a person give you a bath in your dream. Never let nobody feed you. Never let nobody tell you to say something. Never sign anything. Do not have sex in your dream. Be careful when they throw powder in your face or tobacco. They are doing a hex on you. They are cursing you. They can do death magic and they can do black magic in your dreams. Dreams are real. They can get you. That's why I always say pay attention to your dreams. So if you are familiar with somebody and they doing something weird, that's not them. That is the enemy or the demon that shapeshift. That's why you should always protect yourself, put wards up when you're sleeping, okay? You gotta want this. You can't say, I don't know, or whatever. Or if you have somebody do it, you gotta want it. Because if you're not, it's going to come back and it's going to be harder. Okay? So if some of y'all have demonic altars that your ancestors made, that's why it's called generational curse breakers. For example, if you know you lazy, you need to cut the cords to the spirit of laziness. If you are a habitual liar, you need to cut the cord to being a habitual liar. These are all energies. These are all attachment. It doesn't always have to be a person. It could be a place. It could be a thing. Okay? It's why it's called energy. Everything has energy. This has energy. Your dog has energy. Okay? Animals get attachment. Animals are shapeshifters. So if you see an animal that has funny looking eyes and they look human to you, that is a spy. Okay? Once again, you see things out of the ordinary. It doesn't even have to be a net or a fly. Okay? They can use birds. They can use geese. They can use anything. Butterfly. They can use a cat. They don't always have to use flies. They can use Jerry's. They can use Jerry's uncle, the rats. Okay? If you're around a cemetery and all of a sudden you see a group of, say, geese walking around a cemetery tomb, they are connecting that spirit, that energy. And they are going to command them geese to come up in your yard and drop some poop or drop something on you. When birds drop on you, that is a sign that it's not always good luck, people. You know what I'm saying? People do stuff. Okay? 7 signs to clear your energy. When you feeling something's going on, you're stressed. Okay? You are tense. You're angry for no reason. Okay? That's another reason. Energy transfer. You mimicking them. You start acting like them. Okay? That's why you call a trendsetter. That is an energy transfer. Okay? You feeling blocked. You feeling a bit off. You wake up like, man, I'm feeling off. They got you. All right? Feeling confused, overwhelmed, exhausted. Once again, I tell people, don't FaceTime me. If I FaceTime you, it's because I'm too lazy to type it or voice message. Okay? So when I do readings, no, I can call you. You don't have to see my face. You know my voice. Everybody don't have my voice. Because, energy transfer. There's a lot of people that claim they don't be trying to read you. They be trying to read you. And I'll call them out. I said, why? Is there something you want to know about me? And they be like, what are you talking about? I said, what are you trying to pick my brain for? Because you're reading me. If you know, you know. They do it and then they quick to lie and say, no, I'm not. That's a motherfucking lie. They know what they're doing. They know what they're doing because you can't control it. Some people are just freaking nosy. And nosy get people fucked up. You need to mind your business. Okay? You mind your own spiritual business. Okay? You will automatically know when they doing it because you get a headache. You get forgetful. That's how you know they trying to do an energy transfer. So when people just call you out of blue, I'm like, yeah, how can I help you? What's up? That's what it is. And they just stand there, oh, nothing. I'm just bored. What the fuck? What the helly? You know what I'm saying? You could have texted me, hi, I'm bored. Especially when they don't give permission to call you. They just automatically call you. That's some bullshit. That is energy transfer. Okay? You in physical pain. You constantly holding pain, especially in your shoulders, your back, your feet, your hands. That is being attacked. They are taking your energy. When your bones hurt, when you go to an Ifa, a Babalo or Isheshe, and you get an Ifa divination, they bless your joints because that's where negative spirits attack you at, your joints. So when your joints hurt, that's the energy they are taking from you. That's why when you're on the spiritual journey, you need to always take vitamin D, vitamin B6, B12, and vitamin C. This helps you. All right? You're extra clumsy out of nowhere. One way, your equilibrium's off. Another way is your body is a natural pendulum. Everybody know what a pendulum is. Your body is a natural pendulum. So if you don't have a pendulum, a necklace that you wear all the time can be a pendulum, but make sure you cleanse it before you put it back on your body. Don't program it. Ask them what is yes, what is no. Your body is a natural pendulum. All right? Back is yes, forwards no. You don't force it. All right? You need to start paying attention to that, because you could be with somebody and they doing an energy transfer, and all of a sudden you get clumsy. You get the dropsy. All right? The next one is dwelling in the past. This is the main one. You're stuck in the past. You're dwelling in the past. You can't let the past go. It's holding you down because it doesn't want you to get your breakthrough. It doesn't want you to get your breakthrough. Y'all having financial blockages. That goes with stuck energy in the past. Okay? You still connected to someone that benefits off your blessings. There is a lot of people that hangs around you because every time they're around you, they get blessed. Always positive things happen. And as soon as you out of the picture, things start going downhill for them. And then they find their way back. That's a sign. Once again, that's a frenemy. Okay? You cannot trust a frenemy. You cannot trust somebody that has secrets. A sick person that holds secrets is not true. It's not faithful. It's not trustworthy. You can't, because they withholding stuff. A person who holds secrets can never be your friend. All right? How do you cut cords? There's 7 ways you can do cords. Okay? You could do 2 candles and do the cord cutting. That is one way. Another way, if it's like really, really hard, you have to go to a shaman that can go to the underworld. There's 3 type of worlds. There's under, which is lower. Where there's under is 4. Under, lower, middle, upper. So a shaman is like an advocate, like an intercessor, like a lawyer. You have to go down and plead your case as a lawyer. Okay? Then you have to go into the heavenly courts, which you go to the court. So you go down there and you summon and you talk to that demonic spirit and you say, okay, you've been served, buddy. That's why you go down there. Then when it's time, you go up to the heavenly courts. Yes, there is a heavenly courts. You go there and you present the case. All right? Once that's done, you go up further, like in Akashic Records, and you sever it with the golden flame or the violet flame. And then that's it. That's done. It's not always with 2 candles. It's not always with a bath. This goes back to how deep the freaking wound is. There's a lot of y'all that have a high spiritual body count. Y'all sleep with people because, once again, some people activate your spiritual energy. All of a sudden, y'all want to butter each other's biscuits. But when that person butter your biscuits, you sleeping with everybody they slept with, who they slept with, who they slept with. That's another way to cause blockages. Y'all not supposed to sleep with everybody. Just because it's your soulmate, you don't sleep with them. And once again, you definitely don't sleep with your twin flame. Like I said before, some of y'all just horny. Sometimes that's your Kundalini rising. All right? Also, you need to learn to practice semen retention. Especially if you're doing a 5-finger discount or you doing sex magic. You're supposed to retain the semen. You're not supposed to let it go. So y'all doing sex magic, y'all doing the 5-finger thing wrong. It's called semen retention. You're not supposed to let it go. You're supposed to hold it. When you are manifesting, you're not supposed to think of anybody. You're supposed to think of that object that you're trying to manifest. Y'all both don't release. Y'all both hold. It's called semen retention. Y'all are doing it wrong. When you get that urge, that is your Kundalini rising. Yes, you're going to get aroused. That's the energy, because that's the energy moving like a snake. And you feel aroused. Doesn't mean you got to go get your biscuits butter. You're messing up the rotation. Seriously. All right? So we talked about, once again, clairsentient. That breaks down to psychic medium, medium necromancer. Then we talked about clairgustance. Going with clairgustance is psychic tasting. It's a French word. Then clairalience, which is psychic smelling. All 3 is very important. It goes down with psychic touch. Everybody has the ability. You have chakras in your hands, you have chakras in your ears, you have chakras on the bottom of your feet. That's why it's very important to ground outside barefoot and walk outside. Pachamama, which is Mother Earth, Mother Gaia, is your battery. All right. So when you having an off day, you go get some dirt, you put it in there, you toss it over your shoulder, you rub the dirt in your hand. This is going to help recharge you. That's why when it's raining, you go out there and you get baptized. It cleanses you. It cleanses your protons, neutrons, and electrons. It purges you. All right. Wet dirt helps you. It's very important to ground, to meditate, and to go into spiritual gyms when you're doing it. Once again, everybody wants to be spiritually gangster till it's time. Everybody was born gifted. Everyone's not chose, and everyone's refused to use them. Everybody's born with their crown open. That's why it's called the soft spot. Everybody's third eye is open, but once again, you can block it. And also with what you eat. Being around negativity also does that. Everyone is born open. You can critically block yourself by your consciousness. That's why when you sleep, your subconscious is open. That's why you dream. And those that don't dream, you're either working or someone is taking your dreams. That can also happen. All right? Dreams are messages. All right? So I hope y'all was able to learn something today. So if you want me to teach upon another one, that is fine. I will teach upon another one. All right? That's good. That's good, Tracy. You need to start writing down your dreams, Cynthia. You really do. Even if you just remember 1588, you saw that in your dream. The point is, it would dream. Also, I know some of y'all dream, y'all wake up, y'all go to the restroom or y'all go get something to drink, y'all lay back down, y'all in the same dream again. That is a very important dream. Majority of those are prophetic dreams which telling you something is about to happen in the future. So please write down your dreams. That's why you should have several journals. Okay, you should always have several journals. All right. Once again, be careful because you can get worked in your dreams. Okay? Trust me, I'm not in people's dreams. So if you dreaming about me and my eyes are brown or black, that is not me. I have several people tell me, you told me to say this. Why would I tell you to say that? You gave me a bath. Why would I want to bathe you? Come on, make it make sense. Why would I tell you to go in a dark cave? Why would I tell you to do this? Start paying attention. Once again, they will use your dead relatives as well. They shape shift. All right? So you have to be careful because there's a lot of people that did not wake up because death magic was sent to them in their dreams. How do you know someone trapped you in a bottle? You can't wake up out of that dream. It's not always a succubus. It's not always an incubus. It's not always a hag resting on you. Sometimes they trapped you and you wondering why you keep going on in a circle and you can't get out. Someone trapped you in a bottle. That's another reason. Once again, you can control your dreams once you get mentally strong. Everything is not an incubus. Everything's not a succubus. Everything's not a hag. People can trap you. People can astral travel in your room. That's why you feel like somebody's watching you. Okay? You need to always set up wards. You always need to set up protection. Stop doing every spell y'all see on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. They never tell you to protect yourself. They don't tell you the whole truth. Stop telling people, stop doing, people say you need to do this and do this. If you don't have a mediator, if you don't have a mentor, stop doing it because majority of the time they not doing themselves. Anybody can make it look good. doesn't mean it's good. One thing about Ouija boards, Spirit had me talking about Ouija boards. There's trapped spirits in there for a reason. They are trickster spirits. So if you up there moving that and you don't know the energy, that's why I said pay attention to the energy. You just untrapped something that was not supposed to be untrapped. And there you are, you did something. Like I said, people can show you, but not telling you the whole truth. And there you are, F around and found out. Then y'all want to go to somebody to fix what you did. Let me tell you another thing about going against people's free will. Stop trying to force somebody to love you, because it can go bad. You can grow out of love with that person. Then that person is obsessed with you, take you out, your whole family out, and take them out. And you be like, I don't want it no more. Okay? The next one is, it backfired and you the one that's obsessed and they not. Because if someone don't love you and it's closed, that energy is not getting in. If they have any type of crack, any feelings for you, that's when it goes and that's when it works. If that person's done with you, I don't care how much is going to happen, it's not going to work. That's why it's called free will. But you also do unto others if you want others to do to you. Majority of the time you obsess because you think that's your happiness, because you are energy control. You lost yourself. That's not your happiness. Majority of the time you don't even know what you want. All right? So be careful with that, because you're not supposed to bind anybody. Let me tell you about magic. Magic has to be justified. If it's not justified, it's going to come back really bad on you. Karma is real. Even though people don't believe in karma, karma do exist. So if it's not justified, it's going to come back. It might be 2 weeks. It might be years. It might be months. It might be seconds. You might completely forgot. And it's going to come back and say, I got you. People always want to learn spell casting, but hurt people. How do you become powerful? You accept rejection. You become friends with the things you don't like about yourself. You use your energy and power for something that's really necessary. That's why I tell people, when people say, oh, I'm a chosen one, I be like, baby, you can be chosen of the light and you can be chosen of the dark. Because a true chosen of the light is going to walk away. They be like, I don't got time for this. A true chosen from the light don't want to be chosen. They don't call themselves chosen. Everybody has the symptoms, or like I said, everybody has the clairs. Everybody wants to be alone, because everybody is either an empath or a light worker. They just choose not to do it. So when you hear people say, you are a chosen one, if you want to be alone, or you hate crowds, baby, everybody do that. You either an extrovert or introvert. A true spiritualist really don't like people. We don't really like people. We do it because that is our calling. So be careful when people say I'm the chosen one, because out of the trillion billion people on the earth, and there's only 144,000, how is everybody freaking chosen? Make it add up. Do the math. Everybody want to be until it's time to be. Because a true spiritualist, a true healer, a true chosen one, they don't throw rocks at glass houses and hide. People hurt their feelings, they be like, whatever. You know what I'm saying? When you are really doing your spells, like I said, hurt people. And that's how a lot of witch wars start, because you bruise their ego. You call them out. So they want to prove a point. They get power hungry. That's exactly how witch wars, warlock wars start. Because your ego was hurt. You couldn't take rejection. You can't handle the truth. People would rather believe a lie than the truth. You need to learn to pick your battles. You never hurt an innocent child. Once again, you got to be careful who you working, because you don't know who they walk with. They can be one of the chosen that's touched by gods of the light and gods of the dark. Just because you're a medium, they don't have to reveal themselves unless they want to. That's why I said pay attention to your smelling. An angel don't want to appear, but you can smell one. A demon might not want to appear, but you can smell one. They don't always want to be appeared. That's why I said pay attention to your smell and your taste. If you truly seen what a true angel look like, they not pretty. So these pictures that y'all see is not what they look like. They not pretty. Demons and daemons are not pretty. They never come alone. They got kings, queens, dukes, earls. They never come alone. So make sure you know which one you're speaking to, because you might be speaking to somebody because they say, I'm not going to waste my time with her. Go ahead. Then they might send in a duke. They might send in an earl. And there you are thinking you talking to that spirit and you're not. That's why it's very important to pay attention to the energy. Do you know how many Papa Labas there is? Do you know how many Barons there is? Do you know how many Yomoja, Yimiya there is? Do you know how many Oguns there is? Do you know that? So y'all be saying this, really? Do y'all know how many Ilegua they are? How many Eshus? How many Parmegitas there are? There are so many. Do you know how many Liliths there are? They have children. Persephone had children. Nyx has children. They all have things, but y'all quick to say, oh, I'm this and this. Are you really? Are you really? Once again, a lot of y'all be talking to Lucifer, and y'all think y'all talking to an angel, and y'all actually talking to Lucifer. Lucifer is very beautiful energy, very calm, very peaceful. Archangel Michael is very intimidating, very strong. There's a difference. Some of y'all be thinking y'all talking to angels, and it's not. So always sit, always ground, always meditate. You always need to connect with your main spirit guide. I went over that on my lessons. You have one that's with you in every life and death. You really need to start, because that's the one that's going to guide you. And that's the one y'all be ignoring. Angels don't send angel numbers. That is a spirit guide over divine timing. That's your spirit guide called divine timing that's sending you those synchronicities. That's sending you your angel numbers. But people call it angel numbers. Angels don't send numbers. That's a spirit guide, divine timing. See, y'all go back with all this stuff following. Angel number means your angel's near. No, it's not. Angels do not send angel numbers. So, I hope y'all took down your papers and notes. I'm out of here. Y'all don't have no questions. Y'all have a blessed Thursday.